Hey guys, what's up? It's TheThirdKnight here. Sorry about that. Welcome to episode 2 of PvE Arbiter. Before I begin the episode, I just want to give you guys a bit of warning. YouTube is once again planning on making unnecessary changes to their website to annoy everyone even more. Basically, channels are going to be looking very different to what they do now. So I'm just giving you guys a bit of a heads up for that. Some people have already changed their channels to the new look, but I will definitely be waiting as long as I can before changing. On top of that, when I'm logged in, I can't actually see how many subscribers I have, which is really annoying. So yeah, just thought I would let you guys have a bit of a heads up with that. So if that ever happens to my channel, you know why it's all just gone crazy. It's just the new YouTube layout. So this episode, I had to take full Guthans off the armory, as I sort of realized after the first episode that Guthan Spear only allows you to use attack styles which make you train attack, strength, and defense, meaning it would raise my defense level above 70, which of course I want to leave to be a Barrows Pure. You know, you got to leave it at 70, so I might add it back later on depending if I go for 75 defense for a Dragonfire Shield or completely max out my combat skills, but for now I'll be keeping it off the list. I've added Piety and Chivalry to the armory this episode as well, so I forgot to add them last episode, and I'll definitely want them for PKing and other PVM activities, and they do cost a fair bit of money, so they are definitely worthy of being in the armory. And of course, I updated the whip image to the actual 2007 graphics instead of the later version, which I had in episode 1, which is just very nice. So it was pretty funny. I actually did my third ever clue scroll on the 2007 servers a few weeks ago, and after receiving a Zamrock page on my first clue and then a Saradomin page on my second clue, I actually managed to receive a Guthix page on my third clue. So I got 3 page clue scroll rewards in a row, which is really cool, out of all the clue scrolls I had actually done. So I can't really complain about that. Any unique items are fun to get from clue scrolls, for me anyway. And it was odd getting so many pages in a row, and then that pattern appeared to have stopped when I received 2 clue scroll rewards in a row without any pages in it. But then it followed up in the clue scroll casket after that, where I received a Guthix page and a Sara page. So the pattern is continuing, and I'm hanging out for the next clue scroll I get, preferably level 3. So maybe, I never know, I might get a Zami page or something. I don't know. It should be pretty epic though. I'm really enjoying the clue scrolls at the moment. They definitely have been very profitable. I haven't had any crappy ones yet. And also, clue scrolls are generally profitable at the moment because, you know, stuff like, even if you just get like a rune item or whatever, then, you know, rune items are generally worth a fair bit still. So that's kind of nice. And those are sort of the worst rewards you can get, at least from level 3 ones. Unfortunately, I didn't get the footage of me getting the last casket, as I was a noob and I literally forgot not to record it. So I was sort of annoyed after that. But yeah, so now I have the same Guthix page, same 2 Guthix pages, which is a bit annoying, but oh well. I can probably swap them for another one off someone else, and 2 different Sara pages. So that's in my bank, which I'll keep until they're selling for a decent amount, or I'll just keep them and put them in my own books. But I don't really see the point in doing that. I'll probably just end up selling them because there's no real point. I don't see when I would actually use them, because using any god book other than a Zami one, it wouldn't really be worth it in my opinion because of the bonuses they offer. For those of you who don't actually know what the bonuses offered by any of the god books, the Zamrock god book offers an 8+ bonus to all offensive stats. The Guthix book offers a 4+ bonus to offensive and defense stats. And then the Saradomin book offers a 8+ bonus to all defensive stats. So that's once all the pages have been added, I believe. I'm not exactly sure about any of the bonuses that are given when the books are a quarter, half, or 3/4 full. But I definitely know those are the stats with them when they're completely full. And they also offer a nice prayer bonus. However, I don't really think that's important. That's just my opinion, because I can just prayer flash anyway. And in PvP situations, you generally just want to have more offensive bonuses besides, you know, Pharaoh scenarios. But yeah, prayer flashing, you don't need any prayer bonus at all, as long as you've got 1 prayer point and you've got protection prayers. Obviously, having prayer boosting items and stuff is very helpful, because if you do stuff up a few times, then it doesn't drain as much prayer points as it would have originally. But yeah, so Anyway, moving on from that, I managed to get a black mask, as you may have seen in my recent bank video. So that's definitely been really handy to have while slaying for the 15% accuracy and strength boost it offers against any slayer tasks. It definitely speeds up the tasks, and I highly recommend getting one for anyone that's aiming for a slayer level of 70 plus, because that is a fair bit of XP, and if you have the money, of course, then definitely go and buy one of those. It will save you a lot of time. I bought mine off someone for around 1 mil, which was slightly lower than the average price at the time. So that was really nice. Personally, I think that they're going to stabilize at around 500 to 600k in a month or two's time. They're an item that will always be needed, and I don't plan on ever selling mine regardless of the price changes. I think between 500 and 600k was the price they were worth in 2007 back in the day. So yeah, so I think that's probably going to be what they're going to be worth here. One of the most enjoyable things I reckon about 2007 is knowing stuff like that. So knowing that there's not going to be any armor changes, and if there is, then they would almost definitely be insignificant, and any of the really significant ones would probably get voted out. So it's really nice knowing what to aim for, and it definitely won't be long before people have the best tier of equipment possible. So that brings me on to a new topic, and that is the highest value items will probably be, besides Third Age, which will obviously be worth a lot, Dragon Chain Bodies, I guess, will probably be the second highest. Don't quote me on that. There's probably a few other items that might be worth more than that. But, oh yeah, maybe the Dragon Full Helm probably be worth more than that, because that would be harder to get. And, maybe a few other similar items, which in reality won't be worth, a huge amount compared to, the most expensive items and stuff in, the main game, which of course is rares. So I really hope that JAG do bring back rares, not only because, they look awesome, and it would be awesome to, go PKing one day wearing like a Santa hat or a party hat or something like that. That would be really cool. But it will, give players something really high to aim for that, other items in the game, they don't take as long to obtain in terms of monetary value. Of course, I sort of say that now, but the initial value of rares, if they were to be released, would probably be relatively low, although it would be dictated by how JAG implemented them and added them to the game. Because obviously, if they were to add it like they were added back in the day, then a lot of people would initially have them, and then as it happened back then, they would gradually rise in price as time went on. But it did actually take a long time before they were worth a fair bit. Like, I remember in, I think it was 2007, maybe it was 2008. Between that time period, there were, I think, party hats. When was the Grand Exchange? I can't remember when the Grand Exchange was added in. But at that time, there were around, I think the most expensive party hat was maybe, I think it was the blue one, and that was probably just above 200 mil. So in reality, like, that's not a huge amount, except that was after, that's after like a few years. I don't know. It's just gonna have to come down to how JAG implement it, and 2007 is going so well at the moment. If it's still around here in a few years and stuff, which I'm sure it will be at this rate. I mean, it's a huge amount of fun, and stuff like PKing, people can just do that forever. It's. I'll use an example here of Counter-Strike, which I don't know if you've heard of it. Basically, it used to be a super popular FPS, and it still is. And it's really old. It's a really, really old FPS, and it hasn't received like any super big updates. Of course, there's been like one other version that's come out, but it's a 2007 Scape, I can imagine, will be very similar to something like that, where people will just keep coming back, especially because of the PKing, PVM, and skilling. There's a lot obviously to do with skilling. PVM, there's not so much obviously because there's no God Wars dungeon or anything, but there's still a lot of things to do in terms of PVM. Anyway, I was getting a bit off topic there, but yeah. I think it would be really cool to see, if the, res were implemented back into the game. I don't think it's, they're just cosmetic items, so I don't think in the long run they can have much of a negative impact on the game, unless, people get pissy about rich people having them. Oh, they're rich. How come that guy's so rich he can show it off because he's got a blue party hat? I think there's nothing wrong with that. Everybody, can earn it their own way, and now that gambling's banned, there's not many dodgy ways of getting money besides obviously gold farming, but at the end of the day, like, there won't be a huge amount of people that do that, hopefully, anyway, so last episode I got my fighter torso. However, I forgot to add the footage, which is a bit newbie of me. I've been a bit newbie of late. Anyway, So I decided to add it to this episode, and yeah, as I said in episode 1 of PvE Arbiter, Fighter Torso does take anywhere between 2 to 5 hours to get from Barbarian Assault. All depends on your team, and I'll be making a guide on Barbie Assault when some of my friends have leveled up a bit more, so they can help out with other roles. Yeah, so if you're going to go Barbie Assault, going to go for that Torso. I know I've talked about this stacked in other videos. Make sure you know what you're doing. And if you know exactly what you're doing, get a team, get a bunch of friends and stuff that know what they're doing as well before you actually go and do it, unless you're willing to spend, double or triple the time it would usually take to actually get it, because you will find a lot of noobs on World 6. Official Barbarian Assault world at the moment is World 6, for those of you who don't know. I don't know if there's any for like pros or whatever, but yeah, that's a world I got it on, and that was like within like a day of release, so that was kind of cool. Another thing I wanted to quickly mention before I ended this video was JAG, or Jagex Account Guardian. Now, this was brought up by a comment someone left on one of my previous videos where he went out to do something and he got hacked, basically, which obviously, hacking happens happens to a lot of people in RS. And it really sucks, and there's a lot of things you can do to stop it, but JAG was really good. It was something that Jagex, because I know obviously some of you guys have come back just for the 2007, you might not have known about this on the main game, but basically JAG was something that Jagex created to add an additional level of security to everyone's RuneScape account. Basically, it meant that if someone were to attempt to log into your account on a computer or other system other than the one that you actually play on, they would need to first answer some questions you set. So basically, it would stop people from, being able to log into your RuneScape account from any computer other than the one that you played on, unless of course they had the answers which you had made up. So it was really useful and a great update for the main game. It does prevent hacking a huge amount. So even if people have your password and everything, then it's going to make it very difficult still for them to actually gain access to your account. And it would really be nice. It would be super nice if Jagex were to add that onto the old school servers. I don't think it needs a poll for it at all, because people can choose whether to use it or not. And if they don't use it, obviously they don't use it, but it only helps security count, and there aren't any negatives about that really. So yeah, it only takes like 5 minutes to set your questions and then you'll be pimping, so sweet. Anyway, that's it for this video. Made some nice progress, got some nice average little drops that all built up. It's nice to have some 2 items from the armory. That is the Fighter Torso and Black Mask, of course, and I am really looking forward to getting back to some hardcore Slayer. Was watching Bodhi's live stream last night. It's really nice. Just if you want to kick back, get some nice levels, I definitely recommend checking out Bodhi's, when he's streaming. Same with people like Gross Gore and obviously RuneShark and everybody else. Watching a live stream, or you do your own skills and stuff, it helps so much. I was just sitting there slaying my heart out while I was watching Bodhi doing PKing and stuff. And it was really good. I could do that for like, 2 to 3 hours non-stop, and that was a huge amount of fun, and I got some nice Slayer XP as well as some other combat XP. I'm not sure 100% what item from the armory I'm going to be aiming for next. I want to keep training my strength with my trusty D-Skimmy, of course, until 99 strength, and then I'll probably go for an Abyssal Whip, or then I'll definitely want an Abyssal Whip for training attack to 99 as well. Obviously, these are really long-term goals, but sort of have to think about it. I mean, because there's no other really great strength training weapon that I can really use for strength and, attack at the moment. I guess maybe TheThirdKnight might be the other option, but I'm not sure if I want to use TheThirdKnight. I think because, I don't know, I think the Slayer Helmet and Dragon Skimmy and stuff might be faster. I don't know, I'm not sure on the XP rates, but I want to be slaying as much as possible. I don't want to have to be forking out cash for a lot of prayer potions. It's a long way down the track though, so I can't really comment until I've sort of gotten there. You never know, I might get third age in between now and then, or I might just get absolutely dropped from my bank. I don't know, just gonna have to wait and see. Hopefully not the latter one. I also got to get a lot of quests done. I just really want to get those out of the way, so that, I can get rid of all the quests. I can complete all the quests which give large amounts of defense XP before I get 70 defense. At the moment, I'm 69, and I'll get 70 defense after those quests are done. So I'm pretty, once I actually obviously get 70 defense, I'm as far away as possible from 71 defense, in case I accidentally train some defense later on, and so I don't screw up my barriers pure. So yeah, I'll most likely do some questing, but I might even go for Barry's gloves. That would be really nice, and that would be a item off the armory, and I'll get 70 defense and probably start buying some other Barry's gear. That's probably what I'll do. That's probably what I'm planning on. Anyway, we'll just have to wait and see. Thanks very much for watching, guys, and I'll see you next video.